I don't have all the answers for global issues or concerns in the community. I don't have them, and I don't know all of them either. It would be impossible for me to do. But one of the things I want to let you all know is this: before you can build sustainable solutions, you need to learn how to build sustainable relationships. Okay, I want you guys to think about that. Before you build solutions, you have to build relationships. Okay, and what I mean by that is, since you all are putting your social impact projects, you guys have them planned out, you got your outline, you've got your plan, you're going to hit the ground running, you're really excited. And one of the things that I've realized is that a lot of people can have a lot of grandiose ideas. They can have a lot of ideas, they can have a lot of facts, they can have a lot of data. But if you don't have the ability to learn how to build meaningful relationships, and what do I mean by meaningful relationships? One of the things that I want you all to do is this, is ask yourself this question. And I know some of you all may be, I'm not sure the ages of everyone on here, whether you're young, whether you're old, or whether you're in between, okay? This is the question that you have to ask yourself, is do people trust you? Do you have credibility? Do you have influence? And do you have connections, okay? That takes time, okay? And those are some of the things that I want to realize, want you guys to realize as you begin your social impact journeys and to make a difference in your communities. All right. Let's see here. So like I said, building relationships, establishing trust. And this is a really big thing that I always have at the bedrock of any goal, any project, anything in particular, is I want you guys to, whether you're writing this down or you're taking a mental note, I want you to do this. I want you to take a few moments and think about and determine your reason why you're doing this social impact project. Why were you selected to be a Millennium Fellow? Okay. Ask yourself, why were you selected? The next question is this. Ask yourself why, determining your reason why means this. What makes you get out of bed? What makes you tick? What is in your belly that has a white hot burning desire to get you up out of bed, to go to school, to enroll in school, and to want to make global change? Okay, you all have already have some type of burning desire or some type of impact that you want to do. So I want you guys to think about, why are you doing what it is that you do? And the reason that I say this is this, because what's going to happen is, as you guys are going to go out here, this is what's going to happen. You're going to be at an all-time high and very excited, and you're going to go out and get in the community, and you're going to get rejection. People are going to tell you no. People are going to close doors on you, and that could be for whatever reason. But if you understand why you get up every single day, what your goals are, what your dreams are, you all probably come from a lot of different backgrounds, different families, and you probably are the only person, or maybe the only person in your family, that has an opportunity to go to school, go to college, or to make a difference. You could be the first person in your family, or you could be you could be the second or third person in your family to go to school. But I want you guys to understand and establish your reason why, because that's going to allow you to get up and go out and make a difference, whether you feel like it or not. And one of the things that I've realized is the biggest, it's simple and easy. Sometimes people get simple and easy confused sometimes. It's simple to want to, it's easy to want to create a plan and go out and make a difference. It's simple to do that, but it's not easy. Okay. So I want you guys to understand it's going to take consistency and it's going to take dedication. Okay. And I want you all to, I'm a real big personal development person. Prior to me being in education, I've been in direct sales. For the past 10 plus years. I actually have an identical twin brother as well. We both were in the education realms, and we also are entrepreneurs part-time on the side. He's a real estate mortgage broker. And so we kind of shift entrepreneurship with community impact. And one of the things that I realized, especially being a big advocate of personal development, is there's a quote from Jim Rohn. I'm not sure if you all know who Jim Rohn is, but he's a really big personal development advocate. And I want you guys to really take heed to this quote I'm getting ready to give you all. Okay, you can write it down or you can take a mental note of it. Okay. If being who you are today could get you what you wanted, you would already have it. If being who you are today could get you what you wanted, you would already have it. So either you need to change the way you think, or you need to change what it is that you want. And unfortunately, most people just change what they want. And don't let that be you as you go out there and make a difference. And what I mean by that is this. Everything sounds good. And sometimes when things get hard, people want to quit and go do something else. Okay. And that's not the attitude that you need to have. You need to make sure that you change your thinking so you can change the results and make the impact that you can get. Okay. So those are just some of my opening remarks as you guys go out in the communities that you want to serve and that you want to desire and make a difference in. And as you begin to tackle some of these solutions, I really want you to understand is relationship building. That is key. Okay. And then I'll go ahead and turn it over to you, Simon, as we move forward.
Perfect. Now you can hear me, guys. Thank you so much, Jabari, for the remarks. I think that's been really inspirational, not only for myself, but for everyone in this call here. And we are curious now about a lot of things. So we'd like to ask you some questions. We from the MCN, we've prepared a couple of questions for you, but also we'd like to hear from you guys. So I'm going to ask Jabari a couple of questions we've prepared. But meanwhile, you guys are very welcome to post your own questions in the chat box. And then afterwards, some of you will have the opportunity to ask them to Jabari himself. Perfect. Let me get started. First and foremost, Jabari, we are curious now. Building partnerships and strategic ties with communities we want to serve and important stakeholders like funding organizations and governments may look different. How do you suggest, as young leaders like us, we ensure that these partnerships are sustainable and keep the community we want to serve at heart?
Definitely a question. So one of the things that I always think about, and I think about a lot of the partnerships that I've built throughout the years in the communities that I serve, whether people in politics, people in education, people in health and social services. One of the things that I realize is the way to create, build, and to maintain effective partnerships is this. And I kind of was touching upon on this as I was chatting earlier. You need to establish a personal connection with whoever it is that you're talking to. And I know this may sound kind of basic to you all, but one of the things that I want you guys to realize is this. Remember that these skills, these conversations that I'm having with you all, these can be transferable with any particular industry or whichever endeavor you decide to do. First major point is you need to establish personal connections. That's a really big deal. Every successful partnership that I've ever been a part of has two common themes. The first is it's all about personal relationships and it's all about building connection. The second thing is being honest. I think that kind of goes without saying, but sometimes when you show up to the table, you may not know everything. You understand what I'm saying? And sometimes when people they don't know things, they try to sound really good, but they don't know anything. And sometimes if you don't know something, it's best to just say that you don't know it and refer someone to who can give you that particular type of information. So you want to be honest and upfront with who you are and the information that you have. Another thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you show up. I know it sounds obvious, but being present, even on this call, you can be on a Zoom call, but you're not present and you're not showing up. You could just be here going through the motions. People in the community, especially when I talk to big CEOs or executive directors, sometimes you think those are the people that are intimidating and those are the people that scare you the most, but they're some of the most easiest people to talk to if you establish a personal connection and you're honest, you're upfront, you're transparent. Another thing I would say is learn how and take time to grow relationships. As you all begin to tackle, and one of the things that I realize, I'll let you all know is this, when you're going out there and tackling problems and issues in the community, sometimes you think you're the only person that is working on that problem, or you're the only person that sees that problem, or you think you're working in a silo. But I can tell you this, one of the biggest things about establishing connections in the communities is reaching out to people and experts who know more than you do. Okay. And I think one of the things with this, particularly in today's society, whatever country you're in, but in 2024, we live in, I like what's called a microwave society. Everybody wants stuff quick. Everybody wants fast food quick. You go through the drive-through, you get it in 5 minutes. You put something in the microwave, you can warm it up in 5-10 minutes. You want to get in shape without doing a workout, you can pop a pill to lose weight. There's all these corner cuttings when it comes to doing these particular types of things. But you need to make sure that you're always showing up, and you need to make sure that you're always taking time to grow and build relationships. Hopefully that was helpful. I kind of went off on a bit of a tangent, but hopefully that gave you a little bit of information in terms of what you all were looking for.
Thank you. I mean, that was definitely helpful. I think you definitely answered the question I was asking. Guys, don't forget, you have now the chance to submit your questions in the chat box, and after I've asked my questions, you'll get the chance to ask Jabari yourself. But for now, we were curious as well, Jabari. For young leaders like us, fundraising is an important step in realizing our goals, and it is often frustrating. Could you share with us how we can stay motivated in this arena, especially when we receive multiple rejections?
Nobody likes it. I can almost guess it. Everybody on this call, all 502 participants across the globe, don't like rejection. They don't like it at all. And one of the things, when we kind of look at statistics, most people's biggest fears is outside of rejection, it's death and public speaking. Rejection, death, public speaking are like some of the top fears that most people have. Doesn't matter wherever you are. And so one of the things that I want you guys to realize is this. When we look at philanthropy, and I'll give you an example with the Nord Family Foundation, sometimes when people are fundraising, they don't know how to make the right ask. And what I mean by the right ask is this. Sometimes there's in philanthropy, there's this idea that because we have the money, that we're going to give you the money and tell you what to do with the money. It doesn't work like that. One of the things that you all need to realize in philanthropy, if you're ever reaching out to organizations, is that most foundations or organizations that want to give away money, okay, I want you guys to listen. Most organizations that want to give away money, they want to help you with your project. We don't want to focus on how to tell you what to do with your money, okay? So you need to make sure that you're bold enough to make the right asks. I was talking to James. Me and James, who's on the Millennium Fellow administration team, we were talking about him. I was asking him a particular question, and we were talking about fundraising. We were asking about dollars and cents. And one of the things that he told me is this. He asked me, is there a specific dollar amount that you think that we should be asking for? And I said, no, I'm not going to give you a dollar amount. You give me a dollar amount based on what it is that you need and what you want and want to support. So one of the things I would say is this: be bold enough to ask for what it is that you want. And another big thing I can tell you is this: is continue to understand the reason why you're going to show up. You're going to continue to get rejections over and over and over again. That's just the way the world works. You're going to get told no. But what happens if one person tells you no and the door's closed on you, and then you're done? That's it. But that very next person that you would have been discouraged to talk to could be that very same person that opens the doors for you. Okay. I'll give you an example. Before I even got into philanthropy in the Nord Family Foundation, right? And there's this idea of understanding our reason why is a really big deal to help you with dealing with rejection, whether it's in fundraising or whether it's in any endeavor. One of the big things with me is I understand my reason why. Okay. My boss actually reached out to me about this position 4 days after my dad had passed away. Okay, I want you guys to really think about this. My dad passed away in October of 2023, and unfortunately, my mom just passed away this past February. So I've had a lot of hardships within the last several months, but I'm still here and I'm still showing up. And you know why? Because I understand my reason why. I understand that my parents, they had a vision for my brother and I to work together and change communities, not only for people that look like myself, but for people in general who are underserved and underprivileged. So, that's something that I always think about every day. My parents were big advocates in education. They were PhD professors at Kent. And one of the biggest things that my parents always told us before they passed away is, we want you and your brother to make sure that you're continuing to work together and change the communities that you live in. And that's my reason why. And that's why I show up every day. But if I didn't answer that email, if I thought that email was another spam, if I thought it was just another position, another person trying to reach out to me that was just a nonsense job, if I didn't answer that message, then I would have never had the opportunity to be in the best situation of my life, which is this current position that I'm in. So understanding your reason why and making sure that you're ready to show up every day. So you're going to get frustrated, you're going to get rejections, but one of the things that I always like is when someone gets rejected, they ask questions why, and they want to get better. They want to, not only do they want to get better, but they want to learn from their mistakes, and they're open and receptive to feedback. A lot of times people get offended when they get rejected and they're told no, and then they close the door and then it's over. I want you guys to understand this. Have the discernment, have the posture, and have the heart to learn how to take feedback, learn how to take critical feedback, and learn how to take information so you can learn how to get better and then show up to the table next go round. So hopefully that was that gave you a little bit.
Well, thank you, Jabari. That was really touching and inspiring, I think, at the same time for all of us here. Really, I think you totally answered that question. Also, you would describe yourself as a lifelong educator. So what would you say inspired your journey on this path? And what inspires you today to keep it?
It's funny when I say lifelong educator, I used to just think it was because I spent most of my life in education, teaching, learning, or what have you. But when I say lifelong educator, I mean that you never want to stop learning. I feel like that I can never stop learning. It doesn't matter if I got a PhD, if I got a master's, if I'm an expert in X, Y, and Z. One of the things that I've always had the mindset, and I want you guys to always realize this as well, is that you never stop learning. If you're not growing, you're dying. What happens if you don't water a plant? It's going to eventually die. So you have to constantly feed your mind. You have to constantly feed yourself information. So you're continuously being able to show up. So that's kind of how I typically look at it. I'm always learning from people. I never act like I'm an expert. I always want to grow new relationships. I always want to surround myself around people who are better than me. Okay. And that's how I typically, I'm always growing, always learning. And I'm not sure if you all are familiar with this term, but you are the 5 people, you are the average of the 5 people that you hang around, right? So if you hang around 5 alcoholics, chances are you're probably going to be the 6th one, right? If you hang around 5 multimillionaires or 5 successful people, the chances are that some of that is going to rub off to you and you're going to be one of those successful people, right? So it's very key to surround yourself around people who are better than you, because that's going to allow you to continue to grow and stretch yourself. Because if you know everything, how can you learn anything else, right? So yes, so continuously learning, never stop learning, always continue to grow, and always surround yourself around people who are better than you, people that you can learn from. And this is what big CEOs do, ladies and gentlemen. This is what big CEOs, this is what big companies do. And I know you guys want to go out and change the communities, but you have the ability to be some of these big organizations, these big CEOs that people know about and want to come and go and work for. So when I talk to a lot of CEOs and big organizations, when we're dealing with this, CEOs typically hire people who are better than them. They get experts in different fields and different pieces, and they have a board of directors of people who are experts and geniuses that are better than them. So that's what I want to make sure you all to think like CEOs, to think like to think like people who are in these top positions. And hopefully, Simon, that answered the question.
Thank you. Definitely did. Again, of course, there's been a transformation in what we understand through philanthropy and strategic partnership and community engagement in recent times. But as young leaders, what should we keep in mind about these changes to ensure that we are building effective partnerships now today?
One of the things I want you all to realize is change is inevitable and change is happening every single day. So the moment you decide to tackle a problem, an issue, a concern, or a community issue, just know that it's probably going to change within 365 days from now. It's going to change. Not to say that the issue won't, but maybe the solution or something along those lines is going to change. And so when that happens, one of the things that I would encourage you all to do, there's a lot of issues. There's a lot of things that go on in your communities. Make sure as you're making these connections, whether they're with key stakeholders in the community, councilmen, ward members, politicians, what have you, key people in the communities. You want to make sure that you learn how to get on their listservs, of all their emails, and also research some of the policies that are going on in the communities. Research some of the policies so you can actually understand the bedrock and the heartbeat of what's going on. I would suggest that you get on a lot of different listservs, you get on a lot of different email blasts, and I also would encourage you all to get a mentor in the field that you desire to be in, is to get a mentor. Whether that's through this fellowship or whether that's you doing it on your own, but you need to go ahead and get a mentor and align yourself with someone who's in your career field so they can keep you up to date with everything that's going on. But one of the things I want you guys to realize is change is inevitable, and you always need to be ready for it.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So now enough from my question, guys. Now we would like to hear from you. So I see there's already a couple of hands up. Now is your chance to ask Jabari yourself. So I say we dive right in with Safi Ullah Khan. Please, the stage is yours. Ask the first question to Jabari. We're all curious.
Greetings, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes.
Sure. Please introduce yourself by saying your name,
Yeah,
and
sure,
where you're
sure.
from.
Sure. My name is Safiullah Khan Sudais, and I am from University of Peshawar, Pakistan. First of all, I would take a moment to thank Jabari for his thoughtful remarks. It really was a thought-provoking speech by him. Like the things which just touch me, that some of his point that were, you never stop learning, and another point that surround yourself with the people who are better than you. So there, those lines do really hit me in. And now I won't take much of your time, so I would straight away go to my question. Is he has mentioned that his Nord Family Foundation work for they provide fundings to the people who are working for social impacts. Through this fellowship, I'm working on a project that is quality education, and I come from a background where I myself have faced problems even in my primary education and secondary education, that we have little opportunities to get education, and then I myself have come out of that background. So I have based my project on the same thing, that I could provide something back to my own community. And by taking forward the SDG 4, that is quality education, I'm going to make it a bigger project by involving and encompassing more SDGs like climate action and zero poverty, gender equality. So basically, my question was, how can I connect with those fund providers who can actually help me, and how I could develop the trust link between those who provide fundings to us, like how they could trust us with that. I hope the question is clear.
No, it definitely does. So basically, you want to know, how can you build trust and to bring in those partners to have the opportunity to give you funding, i.e., to add on or build on to what it is that you're doing. Is that what you were asking?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
That's it. And I'm only pausing because I'm taking it all in. So, this is what I'll say. I look at a lot of different organizations daily. I mean, I see hundreds of different applications, whether, it's from Boston, whether it's from Lorain County, whether it's from, I don't know, it doesn't matter where it's from, but this is what I'll tell you. Do you reach out via email? Do you reach out via phone call? Let me ask you that. How do you reach out to these folks?
Okay, so like we are undergraduate students and we are just into our 7th semester or 5th semester. So like my question was basically, let me expand it little bit. We don't even know the real roadmap that how we can connect with them.
Got you.
Now I think it is more clear.
That makes sense. Got you. Good. So if you're just ground zero, nothing, right? This is why I'm looking at a big map in my office right now, right? And so I'll give you a little bit of context. When I first started my role in education, I was responsible for building a brand new admissions, enrollment, and community outreach department. Ground zero. CEO asked me, and he said, "Hey, I need you to help me build this admissions department. We're a new school. Nobody knows this in the community. I need you to just hit the ground running." I'm like, okay. One of the first thing I did is have a map. So whatever location that you're in, you need to have a map, and you need to have specific zip codes. I know it's global, but I'm not sure if that's the same thing, but we have what's called zip codes that are attached to different areas. So if you have a zip code or a number attached to wherever, you need to print off a map of the area you're looking to make a difference in, connections, what have you. Print off a map, and you need to identify all the zip codes in those particular areas. That's the very first thing you do. The second thing you need to do is whatever you're looking for, whether it's education partners, you need to Google and research how many specific whether it's education partners or whether you want climate control partners, you need to find out how many people in that map are even within your area. And it's just as simple as Googling, hey, how many K to 12, kindergarten through 12th grade educators are in this particular area. So you can build your database. Okay, you need to have a map, you want to have a zip code, and you need to, whether you're using Google, identify, I would say anywhere between a dozen to 25 plus organizations that you believe that would help you in that particular situation. So that's kind of how you would have to do it, at least for starters. Get a map, get a zip code, and really just start listing and identifying, if you're looking for, hey, I need 30, different school districts or educators to support or be, to learn more about my initiative, then you need to have a list of all those different organizations for starters. And I would overcompensate with that because, I don't know if you know the law of averages. Let's say you get a list of 50 educators, 50% of people aren't going to reach out to you. And then the other 50% of people that do reach out to you, then, you may not get a meeting. And then, then it just kind of dwindles down from that. But I would get a map, identify zip codes, and just start listing, just get a tally list, an Excel spreadsheet, a list of any organizations that you want to reach out to, that you want to get funding from, et cetera. That's kind of the basic starter point, I would say. If that makes sense, if that was kind of what you
were it does answer the one part of my question. I would like to repeat it, that how can I build the trust, the trust link between the funding partners? Like, how can I make the trust?
Yep, you're not going to do it through an email. And the way you're going to build trust is you're going to have to keep calling. You're going to have to reaching out. I can't tell you how many times someone's left a voice message on me or sent me an email. But one of the things that I respect is follow up. You're going to just have to follow up. And it's, everybody's not, your email is going to go to a spam folder for somebody. Okay. But the way you build trust is you have to get one person. Okay. You have to get one person to believe in you. Once one person trusts you, it's kind of like a trickle down effect. And how do you build that trust? You just have to be open. That's really basically what it is. You have to be open. You have to understand an organization, the organization schedule. You need to understand who key people in the organization are to talk to, who you need to talk to. So let's say, for example, you're not getting in touch with the CEO. Have you visited the website and tried to reach out to their executive director, maybe their coordinator, maybe their marketing director, or maybe their administrative assistant? You need to understand, how does the hierarchy of an organization work? And if one person doesn't respond to you, are you going to continue to respond to those other key pieces? Somebody in an organization is going to respond to you. I promise. I promise you. But you're just going to have to go through the chain of command. CEO, executive director, manager, coordinator, administrative assistant, whatever that hierarchy looks, somebody's going to get in contact with you. And once you get in contact with someone, I think that's the start. And like I said, trust is a process. Trust doesn't happen overnight. Trust is built through years. But I would say that is a good starting point in a process for you to get your foot into the door, so you can start to begin to establish trust.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your words. Thank you so much for your
No problem. You're welcome.
Yeah, I think it was a good question and a good answer to come with it. Now our next fellow to ask a question, Justus Rotic, please introduce yourself and then ask your question to Jabari.
Okay. My name is Justus Rotic from the University of Eldoret, Kenya.
Nice to meet you.
My one question is just simple. It is very easy to make and connect relationship, but the way to maintain it, I've been finding it difficult, and maybe some other fellows here find it difficult. Kindly elaborate on how we are going to maintain these relationships. Thank you.
Yeah. So you're saying you're having trouble maintaining relationships, correct? So you say you might establish it and then maybe it's broken, and then you got to kind of piece it back together. Is that correct, Justice? Is that what we're saying? How do you maintain those key relationships? Is that like, how to? And so what I would say is this: the first time you meet someone, it's always good. It's kind of like going on a date. I want you guys to think about this, kind of like going on a date, okay? First time you meet, date's exciting. You guys go out to a nice restaurant. You feel a connection. You have a good time. And then you both part ways, and then you never see each other again. Why? It's because you didn't grow the relationship. And so what I would say is, how often do you reach out to the person that you're trying to build that relationship with? One, ask yourself, how often are you reaching out to them? And is the reach out appropriate? Okay. Because there's two types of reach outs. It's like, okay, are you reaching out maybe, once a month, every other week? But if you're that person who's always blowing them up, calling them every day, emailing every day, you're going to turn somebody off. So it really depends. You got to kind of find your happy medium and know your organization, or kind of know the person. But it's like, how often are you checking in? Do you schedule regular check-ins? Do you schedule little coffee talks? And also with building those relationships, is it always about business? Is it always about issues in the community? Is it always about problems? And I'm not saying that can't be the case, but when you're maintaining relationships, sometimes it's just about, you just want to learn more about them genuinely. Okay. I know when people want to genuinely learn about me and genuinely just want to just chat with me and have conversation, that makes me feel really good. A lot of business is done off the clock, like through happy hours, through coffee talks, or I'm not much of a golfer, but a lot of business is handled on the golf course. It's not handled at the corporate table. Okay. So how often are you reaching out to that person is one. Okay. Is it a phone call? Is it an email? And do you have effective follow-up? Okay. Most people don't follow up. I'll tell you that. Most people, they'll say, oh, I called them, I didn't hear anything. Oh, I emailed them, I didn't hear anything. And they get discouraged and they never do anything again. One of the things that impresses me about grantees who reach out to myself and ask for money, whether they've been rejected or we've told them no or not right now, is their follow-up. You know, most people, if we, like, for example, if I decline someone's grant, 9 times out of 10, I don't hear from them ever again. I don't hear from them. Okay. And then there's some that when I decline a grant, right, they reach out to me via email and say, hey, Jabari, you know, we got declined, really sorry about it. We'd like to know what we can do better so we can have an opportunity in the future. And so I would say the fortune is in the follow-up. And ask yourself, how often are you doing that?
Perfect. Thank you, Jabari. Something I want to ask you before I go to the next question. Would you mind staying another 10 minutes after our closing time, as we have so many questions in the chat right now?
Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem.
Perfect, perfect. And I'll go on with the next question. Shisa Shahid, please introduce yourself and ask your question to Jabari. Also, please turn on your camera if possible.
Thank you so much for giving me the chance today to ask a question. I'm Shiza Shahid basically, and I'm from Pakistan, and I'm doing my bachelor's in education from Satyarthia University, and I'm a final year student, and I'm a teacher also. So my question is that, first of all, I would like to thank Jabari for the great and insightful session today. His words like change is inevitable, change is happening every single second, and we need to get ready ourselves. And if you are not learning, you are dying. It's something that motivates me for my career, for my teaching. So my question is that living in Pakistan, especially in Sindh, where quality education is totally unachievable in schools. So, and I'm working on the out of school children, is something feel unachievable for me. What steps can I take in this fellowship where I can make a sustainable solution for those children who are not are enrolled in schools or any institutes? Like, how can I connect with the mentors and how can I connect with the partners who will support me in this project? Thank you so much.
You say just your first part of your question for me first again?
Okay, so my question is that living in Pakistan, especially in the province of Sindh, where quality education is unachievable in schools. So I'm working on the students that are, I'm working on the children that are out of school. So what steps can I take in this fellowship where I can make a sustainable solution for the out of school children, since they are not enrolled in any school or any institutes?
So you're talking about how you can make an impact on the students who aren't enrolled in basically a high performing school. So you're saying that you want to make an impact to the students who aren't in school. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay. And did you say what was the reason as to why they weren't in school? They were unable to be enrolled, or they just don't have the opportunity?
Because of the less of opportunity and the family backgrounds as well. Some parents don't allow them to get enrolled in any school because of the economical crisis and the family background they hold, especially for girls in Sindh.
Got you. So one of the things, and hopefully this can maybe pinpoint what it is. You're gonna with those students. I'm trying to compartmentalize this the right way. You need to. Sometimes the family. So you said that the family is not bought in to the education, right? So you're going to need to figure out how you can get the family's buy-in first. The family is going to have to see the value of education, and sometimes they may feel like they're too far gone, or they don't have the money. But you're going to have to somehow get the buy-in of the parent to see the significance of education. Because that's one of the things when you look at education, it's not just student, it's parent, it's student, it's household, it's community that they come from. Okay. Those are like the biggest factors. And sometimes you're not going to be able to reach the student. You're going to have to build the relationship with the parent. If the building the relationship with the parent isn't going to work, then you're going to have to build the relationship with someone in the community, or someone in the community that sees value in education. So if you can't do it yourself, you need to find someone in the community who does see value, or find a family that has came from that background and has changed the course, right? So for example, do you know any families who didn't see the value in education and then had the opportunity to be enrolled and see the value? Do you have any success stories? So I would identify the folks that do see the value and probably work on it from there. But you're going to have to build some type of relationship and make a connection with that mom or that dad, because if they don't see the value and if they don't see the vision, then it's going to trickle off into the child. So.
Okay, thank you. Next question, please, from Vaishnavi Verma. Please introduce yourself and ask your question.
Greetings, sir. Thank you so much. Am I perfectly audible?
Yes.
All right. So, I was hearing you, and to be true, I was feeling like I'm going on a right track. But as you were saying, that enroll some of the advisory board, some advisory members in your, in your organization or whatever you're doing. Firstly, I'm so glad to introduce myself. I'm Vaishnavi Verma. I'm from Delhi University, a third-year economics student. So, the project that I have taken up for the Millennium Fellowship and way onwards is I've established an organization which is called the Climate Cadets Collective. And right now, we started this organization like in August itself, and we have over 170 plus people who are willing to join us. They are from world over, so yeah, but most of them are India. So basically, we're reaching out to some advisors. Like we have some executive board members who are very nice in their professional journeys, but as you said, that we are reaching out to some of the people who are actually working in the field to give us some advice on the same. So I've been reaching out to many of them, but what I felt is the one thing that they're fearing in the sense that they are all students and they are going to take up some projects and all that way. If by chance something goes wrong, their names will be attached. So one thing they are a bit skeptical of joining the organization as the advisory board is this thing that we don't want our names to be disclosed and things like that. So I have mailed many people, but very few are actually responding me positively. Some of them have, like, I mailed some of the people from very good organizations like CEW who are actually working in the field of climate action and all that way. So those have shown some positive interest. But again, I believe that the question right now on us, because we are all under, like I'm myself an undergraduate student, but some of them, the people who are joining this organization as MSc students, the chemical engineering and all that way. So I believe that the responses to that extent is very good. Some of my friends who have joined the organization are working with the executive board are also from the Columbia University and many other brand colleges around the world and in India itself. So there's this thing. I just want to know how to build this kind of an authority, because the fact is, again, that the organization is not yet registered. So the first question they ask is, are you registered somewhere? So hence, I was reaching out to some of my members in Yango, and they were asking that you can register yourself in UNFCCC, and I was just reading through the legal documents that I need to go through. So that is one thing. Apart from this, second thing that you were mentioning about was to be bold and strong while you are actually asking for funding. And we are right now in the process of building websites and all, and you know that it requires funding. But for the time being, that we have given our own funds to get the domain and everything. But again, I don't know how to, ask for it and how to go so straightforward, because again, they will ask that, are you registered somewhere, or what are the authorities that you're having? This is the question which is coming up, and major question is like, who do you think we should approach to? Should we approach to the government organizations or government bodies who are working in India and abroad for this issue of climate change and all that way? Because as an NGO, or do you think that we should approach some corporate offices or some policy think tanks who are working in the sector for the same? But again, I believe that most of the government, most of these policy think tanks themselves are depending upon the government funds themselves. So why would they actually give some of the fund to us to to get engaged in some other thing? So that is a question I am actually wondering about how to go about it. And yeah, I'm following this email thing only, and most of them have been asking me for a pitch deck as to what you require and what you want to go forward with. So there's this question that I would like to that I think you would be better able to answer me. that when they're asking me for the pitch deck, so I'll need to create 2 to 3 because let's say I'm just mailing and sending it to someone from a media partner, let's say some media channel somewhere. I'm asking them to go forward with some podcast with us or with our students and with our members. So this is one thing. Apart from this, I'm sending pitch deck to some other private companies. So I want to know what basic things should we have in our pitch deck, because whenever we are reaching out to some other organization and some other institution, there will be something else that we'll be doing with them. So what exactly should I mention? So in a crux, the thing that we are basically focusing upon, the 3 pillars of my organization, is climate diplomacy, community engagement projects, where we are actually going to tackle the climate issues which are going on around, in the local areas. So we will be involving volunteers in the same. And third is, of course, the research. So these three are the major pillars of my thing. Then how should I go forward with the pitch deck? Because if you would suggest me to create one single pitch deck that I can send to many people, or you would require or suggest me to create different other things and then going forward with them. So yes.
Said a lot, and I'm gonna keep it very simple, but I think I understand your premises. Let me ask you this. Do you have someone that already supports you right now? Do you have one person that already supports you, and do you have one foot in the door with someone right now that's supported you as far as what you're trying to do already? Do you
The
have one?
sponsorship you're asking for?
I mean, you were saying, well, how do how do should you do X, Y, and Z? But do you have one person that's either supported your project, or one executive that you've made segues with in terms of what it is that you're doing? Do you have one person at least?
Okay, so in the advisory board, yes, there is one person who said yes to join,
And
and
who
he
is
is
that?
actually
Who is that person? Who is that person in
uh
the advisory board
that
that said yes?
okay, so that person is actually so I'm actually a part of this US alumni exchange program. So he is also one of them, and he's a very nice, very established person in this field. He's running his own organization. So I asked him to join us, and he's like working a lot in this field itself. So I met him personally, maybe in a conference or somewhere, and that's maybe a reason why he couldn't just say no to me. That's the reason why he is in the organization. But again, he is in the advisory board, and I'm not asked him to do anything right now. And again, if I ask him for doing anything, I have this fear that he might leave. So before we have more people, like, I'm not asking him to do something. That's the thing. But yeah, there are some people who are actually responding or asking me to mail them, and again, they're all asking for the pitch deck and all. So I'm mailing them right now. I've not prepared any kind of a document except the concept note of my the whole organization. So I'm just sending them the concept note and giving them the main thing in their emails right now. But I attended this International Solar Festival last day in India that happened. So I met a lot of people there, and I was pitching them the organization structure and everything. And there I realized that we need to work on this pitch deck. And hence I'm asking you this question, that what exactly should we put in? What are the major features of it that as an NGO we should put? Because being an economics student, pitch deck and all, we have made it for the corporate industries and all that, but it is to some extent a social project. So what should we get into this, and what are the major things that they're asking me for?
That's a lot. This is what I'll tell you. I don't have that answer for you. I don't. But one of the things I will tell you is this, is if you have one person that is giving you the time of day, then sometimes you just need to go out. This is the thing. A lot of people like to hear themselves talk. And I think maybe the reason why you keep getting rejection is you're pitching. Maybe you don't pitch, and you come from a standpoint of asking for advice, or potentially you need help, or somebody's thoughts. Maybe it's not what you're saying, it's how you're saying it, right? If you're getting rejection, they're not listening, and skeptical. What CEOs, executive directors like to do, they love to hear themselves talk, and they love to seek counsel. So say, hey, you know what? I need help on X, Y, and Z, and I just wanted to get your thoughts on something. Sometimes you don't need to ask somebody to do something for you. Maybe sometimes you just need to get their thoughts on it. And when you get their thoughts on it, you probably would be surprised at how much information that they're going to give you. So sometimes you need to just take the pitch out, right? And you need to just have that in the back of your mind, and sometimes just keep it very basic, and just have lunch and say, hey, you know what? I'm an XY, I'm an economics student. And, I've been going out here and trying to meet a lot of successful people and understand how it is that you do what you do. Sometimes you have to put your project on pause and to act interested before they become, or you have to act interested before they can become interested in you. Does that make sense? It's not, it's not like playing a game, but sometimes you need to just get the business off the table. And sometimes you just need to be humble and ask them, hey, I'd love to sit down for you with lunch and just to hear about what it is that you do. Take the pitch out of it, take the business out of it, and just have some lunch and let them talk. Because what's going to happen is this: if you let them talk, put the business to the side, guess what's going to happen? They're eventually going to ask you, hey, Verma, what is it that you do? Or what is it, or how can I support you at the end? But that takes time. And, a lot of times most people just want to hear themselves talk and get their information out, and then they're done. Sometimes you have to, it's like you can hear, but you're not listening. So sometimes you have to hear to listen. And what I mean by that is this: let people talk, be humble, ask for advice. And it may be long. Sometimes you're like, oh, this dude's talking about nothing, but eventually somebody's going to ask you, hey, what is it that you do? So sometimes you just got to take the business out of it. Stop talking about business and just go out to lunch or reach out and inquire and say, hey, I'm a student and I was looking for people who are successful in this industry to give me some advice. Ask for help, because when you ask for help and come at it that way, they're going to ask, hey, well, what is it that you do, or what is it that you need? That's what I would say.
Understood, sir. And the second part, the authority, how should I go forward with that? Like, how should we just let them know that this is what we're doing and that's what we're planning to do, and we will do that. But again, as I told you, the fears that they have while joining the organization, and apart from this, whatever we are, like, let's say you are actually working in the field of education for so long. So right now we have just we are trying to do our first project, which is Climate Ambassadors Initiative in some of the government schools of Delhi. Now the fact is, like,
Vaishnavi,
this is an yes, I'm so sorry.
Vaishnavi,
Yes.
sorry to cut you off. I know you have got a lot for Jabari. I know we're actually over time, so I want to just
All
make
right.
sure we give any other person
Sure.
an.
Verma, James, what I'll say is I'm going to put my information in the chat. So this doesn't have to be a one-time thing. So I'm going to put my first and last name in the chat. And I know some of you all have reached out to me via LinkedIn. That's my best way to reach out to me. So before we do this, I'm going to put my first and last name in the chat. And that's as you see it. So if you all are on LinkedIn, reach out to me via LinkedIn, and then we can continue to have a conversation. Maybe put it in text. That might be a little bit easier. I think James put my LinkedIn text in the chat. So we can continue to have this conversation. So Verma, like I said, if you follow up with me, because I can't follow up with you, but if you follow up with me with this question, I will respond to you for sure.
Perfect.
And that's for anyone. So reach out to me via LinkedIn. I know some of the fellows have already done that, but we can continue this conversation for sure.
Perfect. Yeah, as I see, we have many more questions here, and I think that's really useful that you put your contact in the chat so people can reach out to you beyond this webinar. As we are almost like approaching the end, I would like to ask you, Jabari, do you have any further closing remarks you would like to share with the audience? Or
I would say this, having a social impact and want to tackle community issues and change the world, it's hard. It's not easy. It's uncomfortable. It can be painful. It can be happy. It can be sad, but it's not easy, and it's lifelong. So I want you guys to realize what it is that you guys are doing. It's going to be a lifelong journey and a lifelong process. And you're not going to have all the answers right now. And I may not even have all the answers for you, but through rejection and through this process, you're going to find solutions. But what I would tell you is this: just understand that it's a lifelong journey, and it's going to take more than a lifetime for you to make a change. But one of the things I'll tell you is make sure that you're surrounded by some of the best people. I believe there's 550 people on this Zoom call, and you guys should all just continue to reach out to each other and feed off of each other. I mean, this is a really powerful group. So I would tell you I would say finish never is. And continue to feed off of each other, because you have a fellow and a network of 500 like minds. And when you have 500 like minds that can come together as a think tank, you guys are a lot more powerful than you think you are.
Perfect. I think that's definitely the right message to end it with. Thank you, Jabari. Like, guys, be in touch with each other, be in touch with Jabari. There's always so many opportunities within this Millennium Fellowship. And before we close it, guys, I would like to remind you that we have an upcoming webinar next week with Anmolpreet Kandola. So keep an eye out for your emails for the Millennium Fellowship weekly newsletter, the Millennium Fellowship website, and the Millennium Fellowship portal for more information. Thank you so much, Jabari. It's been an honor and a pleasure to have you here on this call today. I think we learned a lot, and we never stop learning, as you said it. And apart from that, thank you guys for this webinar, and goodbye to all of you.
So you guys can just type, if you guys don't see the link, you can just type my first and last name into LinkedIn. You'll find it that way. Just type Jabari Dorsey. There's not too many. So thank you all, and you have a good one.
Thank you, guys.